It was another interesting time to watch SmackDown when you do not want to watch SmackDown. I was trying to convince myself to watch SmackDown because I thought it was going to be an alright show after Crown Jewel on a Friday. On a Friday. You couldn't just stream it on a Saturday, or at least on a Sunday. And like an earlier time where people can watch it instead of fucking. No, I'm not going to rant about this because obviously I was conflicting this with some close ones for most of the weekend, so I was too busy with football. And more on football, I'm gonna update you because it's gonna be uploaded at like fucking 5 o'clock. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. So SmackDown Live has occurred, and pretty much it was a serviceable show. It's supposed to sum up the next week will be Survivor Series, and SmackDown pretty much was focusing on the next thing, and I think that's a better idea, even though they have no storylines up to place. The roster's completely fucking boring. There's nothing going on with most of the storylines that are going through. The women's division is completely irrelevant at this case. They have tag team Survivor Series matchup, even though we know what they're about to do. Like triple threat tag team matches don't work. Fatal four way tag teams don't work, and most of it, and most of the teams, the Usos and the New Day, they somehow became neutral for feuding for months, and maybe had my favorite matches last year. So we capped off with a big promo with Paige, introducing the best in the world. It's Saudi Arabia, even though he was just a substitute because the Miz got an ankle twist, and they wanted to see a overcoming moment because it was two heels fighting in the finals, and they needed babyface. So what the fuck wasn't the point of just letting Rey Mysterio just power his way through becoming an underdog and winning the tournament after beating Randy Orton? It's just better placement time, in my opinion. And most of the shit that been happening in the show, nobody cared about. Nobody cared. The most focusing thing the Crown Jewel ever brung to us was DX coming back. Shawn Michaels was bald. He did a moonsault and his super kicks. Anything else, that was okay for me when I was rewatching it. The tournament itself was crap. There was no memorable matches. Jeff Hardy tried his best out there. Shawn Michaels tried his best out there. I think those were the best wrestlers coming into the event. There was nothing. Nothing. The Universal Championship that was overly hyped, overly talked about, overly fucking stacked along the wall. Was it good? No. It just ended with Baron Corbin attacking Braun Strowman with the Universal Championship, and motherfucking Brock Lesnar somehow still using 5F5s to beat fucking Braun Strowman if he got an attack from behind the back. So how come like at least one F5 couldn't be enough? I'm just saying, man. I think people just overuse the finishers too much to show resilience at this current age. Even though if some wrestlers can't even handle a goddamn tweet from a fan saying that they're ugly as shit or they can't wrestle, how can they still be that resilient? It's like the wrestlers know this is fake, and it's like, yeah, I can take this, bitch. Man, like, come on, man. Come on, you know that the wrestling sucks when the wrestlers don't take it that seriously. That's why Enzo Amore quit. That's why CM Punk quit. That's why a lot of wrestlers that you love hate it because they know it sucks. Over all this time, we only had like at least 4 matches. It was Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe, The New Day versus the Usos, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Cross. I take that back. That's like 4 matches. It's 4 matches for a 2 hour show. You're not telling me that you have at least 5 matches for me to watch. And most of the time going into this, it was all right. I think Becky Lynch, Rey Mysterio, and Cien Almas had the most entertaining match. It had a good finish, entertaining moves. Stuff like this deserves storylines, like Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien almost. Not because he reminds me of Chavo Guerrero a bit. Plus, Chavo Guerrero was like a different luchador. He was like a different wrestler. He was not a luchador. He just does not wear a mask. But still, entertaining wrestlers. Rey Mysterio can make any match seem entertaining, and you would still watch it. He can make a slow guy like the Great Khali or Kane, Big Show, be a serviceable 20-minute match or 15-minute match, depending on how you like your wrestling matches. It was a pretty good show. I mean, a pretty good entertainment. Anything else, they had co-captains for the SmackDown Survivor Series team. Why? I mean, this comes from just trying to make a good story building. Two men you know had a history of never liking each other, and I think never will. And just put this up to them so they can just turn each other's back and cost themselves a Survivor Series match coming on Sunday soon. 2 Sundays. But still, no one cares. You have this theme, you have 3 types to make a more diverse Survivor Series when nobody wants to watch it. And I'm not trying to be sexist as much as people want to throw that off the blue. I care about the women's division. There's a lot I want for potential, but you already fucked it up when you had Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, but the only person that's shown with the most potential is Charlotte, and she keeps losing the fucking belt every 7 centuries. And then she somehow loses it on pay-per-view while defending it every fucking week. Sasha Banks is inconsistent. Bailey's irrelevant. She needs to find a different character than just being a happy-go-lucky cunt. And then we have Becky Lynch. That just looks like she's been a yes man all her life. Now she's becoming a heel. And her next opponent she fought was Nikki Cross. Why do you have to make a champion versus championship match? This ain't bragging rights. This is not bragging rights. You don't have to make a champion versus champion all because they come from different brands. The old Survivor Series don't do that. Why do you try to do that all because you guys have a brand split? And yet now it's completely different now. Thanks. You make SmackDown and Raw yet again both exclusive to an individual pay-per-view. Thanks. You guys been struggling to cause viewership or at least skyrocket in ratings. So, what I've been thinking? Fire everybody. Other than that, SmackDown was a complete disaster. They didn't know what they were doing. I don't know what Samoa Joe said to Daniel Bryan to piss him off. I'm not doing this in order because pretty much this was a lackluster show. It gets a 3 out of 10 for me. It had only one entertaining match. Instead of like qualifying matches for the men and women to deserve their opportunity to be in the Survivor Series squad, they just announced them outright because there was literally a lack of women in the division. You had fucking Naomi. Getting talked about as mans, like anybody cared. DeVille is going to be on the team. Fucking R-Truth's main piece. Literally, that was it. AJ Styles is going to be facing Brock Lesnar again. What's literally going to be different about this entire pay-per-view? If nobody's going to defend their championship, and this is all about bragging rights. Jesus Christ, they're trying to rip off bragging rights. Bragging rights was different because they've been literally fighting off their own goddamn brands. The Survivor Series was just Survivor Series. They didn't do it for bragging rights for their own fucking shows. They did it for managed survival. That was pretty much it. The Survivor Series was literally an individualistic pay-per-view supposed to show character depth in the wrestlers. That's why people like Survivor Series that much. Plus, you get to make star power teams. So why do you have to do this? Hogan, you can have a Hogan, Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior on your squad, while Macho Man can have Jake the Snake. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah. That's what Survivor Series does. You don't have to make a brand split for Survivor Series to be that individualistic. Now we have a tag team shit. We got women's Survivor. Like, this is going off the wazoo, and I think people lost the meaning of Survivor Series all because there was a brand split. And shit. I don't care. AJ Styles is in the feud in the moment, so Samoa Joe spikes some bad blood with Daniel Bryan, and that causes a feud. Wow. And he just hits the yes lock for no apparent reason, all because something that Samoa Joe said pissed him off. Jesus Christ. Nice storytelling, folks. So Daniel Bryan being the yes man. He even got Shane McMahon in the Survivor Series squad, so anything else, I don't think he cares at this moment that, this is completely worthless. Just like Crown Jewel, just like the Greatest Royal Rumble, just like any other meaningless gimmicky pay-per-view that they do twice. Because Crown Jewel is literally King of the Ring, except in a cornier name, and it was in Saudi Arabia. Greatest Royal Rumble was supposed to excuse a shithole of a Royal Rumble that had two Asians winning Royal Rumble, one that was female, one that was male, and both didn't do anything. Shinsuke Nakamura yet again still did not hold the WWE title, or at least over the coming year. This year has not even contended, have not even been a number one contender, or at least a threat for the WWE Championship. Same thing as Asuka. She's been irrelevant in this case, and yet she's in the Survivor Series match and doesn't set her own pace, thinks she can't speak English and doesn't have a character for herself, except she's a crazy Asian bitch, and she's going to snap someone's fucking neck, arm, or leg. We get that they can kick ass. What else can they do? And Shinsuke Nakamura literally tried to do a fucking threat for Seth Rollins that he has to face at Survivor Series. Literally speaking in this type of mumble like he's an autistic fucking Austin Powers villain. Come on, man. I don't waste time to see that, man. Nobody wants to see that over the coming year. Nakamura has been a joke to some of the wrestling fans that have been watching this pay-per-view because they know that they think he's mentally retarded. He can't fucking speak. All he can do is use his legs to wrestle. And he literally looks like a fucking transvestite Jack Skellington in the fucking face. If I have anything to say about it, I think that they should completely retcon Shinsuke Nakamura, bring him back to NXT, and see what he can do. Maybe he can join up with those Chinese recruits that they don't speak about that much, or at least put him in breast cancer awareness. I'm really just fucking confused at this point. Why we still have him in the company? Why we have still Ty Dillinger in the company? Sonya Deville in the company? A lot, Carmella in the company. Why we have all these people and they're not doing absolute shit? And WWE is lacking in a moment to find identity at this point. This PG era or this new era or whatever the fuck. You don't have to make names to think of a new generation that comes in time. Like as soon as 2016, think we're in a new era. We're in a new era. Congratulations. No one gives a shit. And the more people don't give a shit, the more your viewership's going to drop. And if it goes to God knows the hundred thousands, there's a problem. There's a problem. WWE lacks, a lot of insight in this that nobody wants to watch your goddamn show. And it's not because it's diverse, and it's not because women are trying to show themselves in the market. Like you try to push everything around. WWE thinks everybody deserves a participation trophy, and that's why I had a problem with bringing another Royal Rumble. That's why I had a problem with having an Evolution. That's why I had a problem with motherfucking Crown Jewel. And I do not hate women. I love giving people opportunity, a chance to showcase their stardom in the WWE. And we came from women being just on-site hookers. Sure, it was entertaining, but it didn't showcase what women can do in the wrestling ring. Or what they can do as individualistic characters instead of Showtime whores that are there to just be fucking side pieces to the main wrestlers or at least managers. No, nobody does this. And you see Kelly, women like Eve Torres doing way better stuff, and they're not even doing wrestling anymore. Bitches are doing yoga, or at least in a different business. That's good for them. While the women in this fucking state are fucking struggling to have an impact, sell anything. And the people that are eating this up are smarks or just some fat douchebag, or some children that really don't watch this show for the wrestling and just want to see a woman act like a 15-year incredibly optimistic 14-year-old. And I'm not saying this because I'm against Bailey. I just think that the character sucks. Like I'd rather see Eugene back getting bullied. I mean cyber bullied by somebody on Twitter for 20. I think they would actually do that. Cyberbullied for at least a couple months, then actually see Bailey in a ring, actually in a compelling feud when we know she's just gonna be the underdog. Everybody's the underdog. Everybody has an opportunity. Everybody fuck that shit. That really doesn't sum up what you can do in WWE. I thought you get to earn your spot in WWE. What happened to ruthless aggression? What happened to actually earning your spot, showing that aggressive, showing that dominance, showing that awe, showing that complete awesomeness, showing some epicness. Since the pyro been taken out, the wrestling been slowed down. Just complete lack of disciplining your own staff. This to hear about Enzo Amore raping somebody, even if it's true or false, no one cares at this point. He's out, and two of your main guys already got off redconned going to Saudi Arabia for some apparent reason. Man, you couldn't even have Batista come back, but you had Rey Mysterio. That's good to see. That's good to see Rey Mysterio back, but that's about it. It's the most positive thing coming into 2018. And I'm doing this in such short notice because I just woke up. I just forgot that I had to do this. And the more coming to see SmackDown and Raw just do absolutely poorly and lose the fans' interest, it it hurts me. It hurts me and my brother because we've been watching this for years. It hurts me that SmackDown and Raw aren't doing as well as people thought. It just hurts me to see a show I've been watching for years become this unsuccessful, this out of the fans' reach. Like, there's no fucking anything in the show anymore. You still got the Umagas. Great Khali's, even though they were suckish wrestlers, they were threatening, they did their job. Triple H, John Cena. We have Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman, the only guys that you would actually come to watch on WWE. Dean Ambrose as well, but he's now with a better build, and it looks like he's going to be in better things. So good for him, but they do so poorly to build up any main development for a story or some characteristics that make these guys more interesting to watch for me to hear from them. Their promos seem corny and incredibly scripted. Even if they do, they're still restricted because they're in PG. They can only say bitch, 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 crap, you piece of crap, bastard, you bastard. It just comes in right now that these guys really lack any compelling things to say, and it doesn't even have to be a curse word. You think Triple H back in the day had something to say involving a curse word? Sure, he did, but it didn't really manage to set fire into your opponent, or at least to the fans. I'm just saying, it was I hate going over these these drawing rants, but it just shows into why I didn't even do Monday Night Raw, because it's 3 hours. I'd rather watch the highlights of the show, because most of the backstage segments involving that night was either The Miz or Daniel Bryan just talking about who they're gonna have on their team. Even though they should have been doing qualifying matches. And if you wanted to fight for captain, the main event could have been Daniel Bryan and Miz fighting for captain. Just saying, there should have been a lot more stuff to deal with in this entire fucking show, and it didn't have to be dragged on for goddamn no one cares for a women's Survivor Series that no one's going to watch. Oh, let's have a women's tag elimination chamber. No one's gonna watch that. No one's gonna watch it. You have nobody that seems interesting that are gonna try something new, that are gonna try something different. All you're gonna be seeing is just some physical moves, some fighting. She's gonna say bitch. or you should have died in the womb. But that's out of the point. It just becomes poor now that we just let this stuff happen. And I think the more people stop watching the show, the more they just digress, and WWE's in denial for that. I think WWE's in denial. If they see that no young fans want to be that consistent watching the show, thanks no kid watches a show for 3 hours. No kid. Even if it's a movie, they'll sleep for a bit. The hardcore fans digress, find the dialogue boring. They find the wrestling too fake to be fake. It's crap. The scripting is terrible. They think they sponsor everyone without any trade of thought. I think McMahon is just doing this. Like I said in my streams, McMahon is just doing this so he can get a golden crested coffin in 26 seconds. Anything else, SmackDown gets 4 out of 10. This is like my like second time writing a show. It was a really poor fucking show.